Hey, am I on? Hi, everybody. Leslie Plazz here, aka Zazoo Plazz, for my Sunday report here in the woods, August 21st, 2022. I am so happy you've joined me today as we head into Virgo season. Oh boy, I haven't done this much cleaning in like a month at least. And I got my Virgo son asking me where the glass cleaner is. Oh, it's great. Reminds me, he's going to be 22, my oldest son, on September 5th. And he just submitted an application for his first apartment, which is down in the southern part of state, Connecticut here, near his job. And he did it backwards. He found a roommate. He went on like some roommate website and he found a roommate. And I said, it's ironic because his middle name is Joseph and our family has a special significant connection to St. Joseph. My mother, whenever she was in real estate, and it's on her side of the family that we're connected to Blessed Andre, this saint from Quebec who had a very special connection to St. Joseph. He was our blood relative. He built a big church up there in honor of St. Joseph, and he crowdfunded it before it was a thing, you know. He prayed. He said, I envision I'm going to build this big place in honor of St. Joseph that people are going to come and be healed and worship. And he didn't have the money for it. He just had the dream for it, right? And then, like my great-grandmother, she had a little store, a general store. And my mother said that she'd take the money, you know, she'd say, one for us, one for San Joseph, us, San Joseph. She saved her pennies. So that's what people did, you know? They crowdfunded it. And he got enough money, and finally he built this magnificent place. So I told my son, Joseph is his middle name, I said, you know, do that. And then whenever Grandma wanted to sell a house, she'd take a statue of St. Joseph, put it upside down in the soil, you know, and she'd sell the house. Because St. Joseph is the patron saint of, you know, homes and the family and, you know, earthly things. So I said, you know, St. Joseph, pray to St. Joseph. So he gets this roommate. I said, what's his name? He says, Joey. You can't make this stuff up, right? I said, my husband's born on St. Joseph's Day. And there is a little story, if you have the Zazoo Plazz book. If not, you can go to ZazooPlazz.com. You can buy your copy right there on my website. And now's a good time. There's a story in the book, Leo, Joseph, and the 8-sided table. It's a great little story about my grandfather, whose middle name was Joseph, Leo Joseph. And it's many things. It's nostalgic. It's about a table that I refinished one summer before my oldest son's 17th birthday. And it's about the little journey and the nostalgia and the reminiscences that happened. How I was transforming a piece of furniture from mid-20th century, and all the ghosts and things that came out of it. It's a good little story. But anyway, everything's all related, you know, although my son, the Virgos, no, you know, Mom is, but in his quiet moments, he knows that there's wisdom in my words. But being 22, he's not ready to admit it yet. So I said, okay, what do you want? What do you want for your birthday? You want something for your new apartment? So he says, oh, yeah, he says, I want to get one of those kits. They have these kits now with all your pots and pans and your utensils because he loves to cook. He loves computers and cooking and, you know, mixing drinks and all that kind of stuff, making investments and money. You know. So I said, there is such a thing? I mean, in the old days, we used to go, you go to Macy's or you go to JCPenney or, you know, in college you go to Job Lot, you get, you know, a few pans or whatever your mom had lying around the house that she didn't want anymore. There you go. And I said, yeah, you know, so we go online and we find all these like really nice, you know, sets that come with everything. I said, okay, so I'll get him that for his birthday, and he wants a spice rack. I could use a spice rack. See, that would be a good present for Mom, because all my spices are used up by 21-year-olds making, you know, creations in my kitchen, and then, you know, putting the spices back and all out of order. And so my youngest son's like, the spices aren't in alphabetical order anymore. I think he has like Virgo moon or something. And I said, oh gosh, you know, is it so much in life just to want your spices to be alphabetized? So I said, oh, what do you want? You want one of those spice racks that, you know, spins around, or do you want the kind that, you know, the rack that you put on the wall? He said, no, I want the spinning kind. Okay, these are decisions we need to make. I said, well, don't put it next to his stove because it gets all greasy. You know, the grease splatters, and then you got grime on your spices. You know. I said, well, now you have to find a place to put your spices. These are Mom's little bits of wisdom. Anyway, you don't want to hear about this. Maybe you do. I don't know. But in honor of Virgo season, the way, the truth, the life, the narrow door, and the way of discipline. Oh, that D word. Discipline dog. Not baby. Okay, so, you know, I've thought about this in different ways. I think it's perfect for Virgo season, because Virgo is disciplined. Virgo's all about denial, self-denial, and, you know, fun for Virgo is alphabetizing the spice drawer. And I have my Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. I am part of that generation. But they are generational planets, so it's not a big thing, but it's, you know. So, yeah, and I offer Exhibit 1. This is an old friend of mine, J.M. His birthday is August 26th. He's going to be 59. Wow, old man. Wink. There we are. We're at Watch Hill, Rhode Island. Now, this is my first boyfriend. Like, very first. I met him the summer of 1981, so I was 15, almost 16, and he was 2 years older than me. So, he was 17, turning 18. But he did the 5-year high school plan. And then he did the junior college thing. I don't know. His family, this is the guy. Aren't we cute? Look how gorgeous we are. We're at Watch Hill, Rhode Island, which is a very nice place where rich people go and park their boats. And, you know, my parents used to like to go there and walk around. And, you know, they used to take me. There was this tea room. You could go and have tea and watch the boats, you know. And so it was, you know, this is the friend who, when we built our house in Rhode Island, he's the one, his family had already been there. You know, they built their house earlier than we did. And so he was the one who showed us all the, like, places the locals went, you know, off the beaten path kind of thing. And he was somebody who was, you know, very good, took good care of things, you know. He was a person, is a person. He was at my wedding with his girlfriend, who he's now married to. I don't know if they're still married, but, you know, it's one of those friends that, you know, they're always there. He was the one who washed my underwear in the bathtub. It was just too much. Okay, a little too grounded for me, but uh, one of those people who can really keep you grounded because he knew where to go to eat. Where the best breakfast places were. Everyone needs a friend or two like that. When you're new in a place, show you around, show you the little. We discovered all the little hiking spots, all the little hiking spots. Off the beaten path. The best time to go to the beach, best place at the beach. You know, and we had a very memorable time once on a Block Island ferry in a hurricane coming back. I think I've told that story, but it's always interesting to revisit. And, as we went away to college and this and that, we kept in touch. We wrote letters because back then, kids, in the early to mid 80s, that's what we kids did. We wrote letters because we didn't have email yet, And they were good letters, and you kept them because, they reminded you of your teenage self. All that potential. Look at those. Look at me. I'm so cute. I had long hair. I had it in a bun. Okay, so anyway, I get to thinking about him. So what happened this week was Friday I put all my work aside and I went to the beach for the day. And I went back after I went to the public beach and got showered and everything. It was a beautiful day. Seagulls, I got my new beach umbrella, my beach bub. I put it up myself. I went by myself. I had a lovely time. I put the darn thing up and it didn't blow over. And everybody complimented me on my nice red umbrella, which, my husband said, we'll get red. Nobody on the beach had red. Everybody had blue. So I could see where I was going. When I went for a walk, there I am. So I highly recommend, red. But anyway, after I showered up, I'm like, okay, now what? Because you got to have somewhere to go after the beach. So I said, well, we usually go to Mystic Pizza and have pizza. But I wasn't with the guys, so I said, when am I going to be down here again? So I drove back to our old house because I've never been down there since my parents sold it 4 years ago. My mom, when she started getting sick, she and my dad sold it sight unseen. They didn't go down and close it out. They did it all online. And so I was just curious. So I went down, and there was there was our house, and they had made a lot of changes. They put like a white fancy fence around it. They replaced the old trapezoid windows and the tilt-out windows. All snazzy, fancy, white perma window, neat and slick. I said later, I was saying to myself, I think, out loud, so for years we suffered with no air conditioning, tilt-out windows, just the bare bones. And these people swoop in, buy it, and, all of a sudden they're living in luxury. I had to go for the rides. I was the one who was 10 years old going for the rides to look at the lot. And they don't even know that. So, it's kind of like, going through school in an old building that's got asbestos and mold in it. And then you go, and all of a sudden, these kids are going in, this brand spanking new school behind me here so we suffered. No suffering is going on. No suffering, maybe there's suffering, but it's not the kind of suffering that we went through. It's like that Howard Jones song. You can look at the menu, but you can't eat. You can feel the punishment, but you can't commit the sin. It's like that. So, and then I said, okay, stop it. I took some pictures. I stopped. I thanked the universe. I said, thank you for all the wonderful memories that we've had in this house. And may these people be blessed with much happiness and much health in this place. And I took a rock from the driveway, put it in my pocket, and I went out. And, and that felt good. I got a little choked up, I'll admit, walking down our street where my friend's house was, next to mine. Their house looks totally different too. There's different people there with doohickeys hanging from the street sign that weren't there. And, they did some weird stuff to the landscaping. I said, my dad would hate that. And, they tore down the blueberry bushes. They put some kind of funny wired fence. It was just awful. It was awful. It's not my house. It's not our house anymore. It's somebody with a black pickup truck. It didn't feel, and yet we're still in that house. Little do they know. They're living with ghosts. But anyway, aren't we all? And then I started thinking, you know what? When you take a step back, you realize nobody owns anything. Me thinking that was my house, my boyfriend, my, no. It was never mine. It was always a rental. This earth, we're renting. This is Mother Earth. She's happy to have us, but she wants us to, she's like me with my kids living home for the summer. I'm happy to have you here. I love you, but clean up your mess. I'm not going to do your chores for you. You got to clean up after yourself. So anyway, there's that. So I bring your attention to this. Here we are in Connecticut. This is the pond that's always frozen in the winter. There is no water. That's why the geese left. And they also they tore out all the brush so you can walk around on the inside. So you can see all kinds of branches and skeletons and frisbees and things that got tossed in there. See? So this is what's going on, right? Take advantage, instead of cursing the lack of water, take advantage of the opportunity to look into the depths and see the skeletons that you missed before because there was water covering it up. See? Instead of blaming, instead of descending into, poor me, wow, that's my house, my. It's all borrowed, all right? Nothing is yours, nothing is mine, except our own spirits, our own souls, right? So, the song. In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel. Okay, so this is connected to the way, the truth, the life, that whole thing. It's even in the song. In your eyes, the light, the heat, I see in your eyes, the doorways, oh my God, it's great. So the other cool thing is, apparently this song was inspired, it came out in 86. I was in Spain in 85, and I saw La Sagrada Familia. It's a famous cathedral up in Barcelona. That inspired part of this song, but they took it out. He kept the Thousand Churches part, is probably in reference to that. But I was there with my friends when I went summer in Spain, the educational program in college that I went on. And it's like, wait, so this is my story. I'm acting, I'm playing out a role. Maybe this doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but to me, I've been keeping track, right? So, but take heart. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. So if you're feeling like I sometimes feel, which is, man, it's a hard path. This is a hard life, man. I could use a rest. I could use a little, rain here. Could rain in, and in your eyes, we look to the other, the boyfriend, blah 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 blah, the job, the political party, the political leader, the religious leader, that's somebody to save us, right? Oh boy, do we, right? And there's an innocence about that. My first boyfriend, my midmate, she was in the nursing home before she died that year. And I said, oh, I met this guy, he's fun, he's, nice, and da, 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 my boyfriend. And she's like, puppy love. And I was so hurt, because when you're 16 and you think, look at me, I've got a relationship. And then when you're, 70 something, you look at, you see your teenage self in front of you in the form of your granddaughter, and you're like, yeah, that's never going to work out. Because the wisdom of age knows, right, that you're going to grow. You're going to grow apart, which, you're going to go to college. You're going to meet somebody else. And then you're going to leave college. And then you're going to, you're going to grow some more. And then you're going to da-da-da-da-da, and on it goes. My Mime knew things. Maybe she didn't realize how sensitive I was, Or maybe she did, and she was just giving me the tough love, March 19th was her birthday. From the March 19th, St. Joseph people, you get tough love, don't you? Sometimes. This has been my story. Anyway. But I listened to this song. It was from his So album, Peter Gabriel, back to the song. And now at 56, I say, wait a minute, that doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It could also be between us and God, or us, God through ourselves, through the narrow pathway, right? And it's through ourselves, through knowing ourselves, and that is the narrow path, right? It's the only way, the way, the truth, the life, right? You can't go back to those times, and I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to go live in that cottage again. And I think what we mourn sometimes, and my family, we're still mourning my mom. We mourn, even though she's in spirit, she's with me all the time, I know that. But the part of me that is, the Virgo part of me, the part of me that wants everything to be perfect, and to not have stains on my shorts, and not have, mosquitoes buzzing at me. The part of me that wants life to be antiseptic and wrinkle-free and problem-free. And let me see if I can hack that. I know, I get an app for that. Da-da-da. That's Virgo, right? Okay? And, I live with that. That's me. My whole life, when I get to this part of the year, it hits my Pluto and my Uranus, which are conjunct opposite my Saturn. You see that? So I got Saturn, Saturn is tough love. Saturn is discipline. So for me to know myself, I need to do it through discipline. And it's in my 6th house, Saturn, which means service to others. So I look at my chart and I go, psh, psh, silly, you didn't come here to sit on the couch. You came here to hike out into the woods and step over the sticks and, clean up the mess and tell people about these things. And to get the ghosts, to exhume the ghosts and the dead bodies and the shadows, and tell you, it's just a stick. That's all that was down there. Just a few sticks and some moss, and somebody threw out a candy wrapper, and whatever. Um, but anyway, I think sometimes, you know, look, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. How perfect is that? I'm going to color that. What did I write up? Oh, reach out from the inside. Ah. Thank you, Peter Gabriel. That's a Peter Gabriel lyric from that song, right? The reason we look at the house where we grew up, where someone else is living, and we want to cry from this well that seems inexhaustible. We want to just shed tears forever. And then I saw some squirrels crossing the road, and I'm like, what the heck? I never saw a squirrel down here. Seagulls, but not two squirrels. It's like, get going. That means, you know, you've got an opportunity now, kid. You don't sit around here mourning the dead, you know. Take those emotions. Take that sadness for what used to be and make it into something that's amazingly fantastic, that can help other people, right? So I'm watching the video for this song, and there's a lady who's kind of looks like my mom. You know, she's twirling around and she's got short dark hair, and she's like from the 50s. And I said, oh my gosh, you know, this was an 80s video, but there was this old-fashioned lady, you know, dancing around, and I said, well, that's Virgo, right? The old conservative, you know, views, and you know, we step on that. We use that as a foundation, but we build higher. We go higher. We can't stop. You know, you have to build on something. So what better to build on than you know, this innocence, and so 20 years from now, this will be the time of innocence. People look back, you know, 2042 and go, oh my God, 2022, remember? Oh, you know, so, you know, it's just one more thought. I must say that maybe it's me, but I go places and I see people and they remind me of other people that I know. And that is a sign that we are all really connected. So when you get to that point, there's no us versus them. There's just us and everyone. So, you know, that's kind of a cool thing. Because when you let go of what you are, or what they are, or what I own, or what you own, and all that crap, and just be, you're limitless, right? I was going to go and make clam chowder today. But the driver, the bus of Sprouts, he's like, oh, I dropped your salsa broke, and it went all over everything, so all of my potatoes taste like salsa, and I can't make clam chowder with that. So I have, you know, he's crediting me, but like half my order smells like salsa. So I don't know what that means, but I guess I'm having leftover enchiladas tonight. And I'm going to poke around and see what else I can find before all this. Oh my God, I've never seen it this bad. It's so dry. We haven't had rain here in Connecticut. Wow, weeks it seems. All the neighbors, my next door neighbor, she's like out watering, and all the grass is like dead. Oh well. Grass is overrated anyway. But so yeah, very exciting week. There's a lot going on, and I better get to it. Like the squirrels, winter's coming. Better go. Gather the nuts. So comes another plane. So you go out, make it a good week, and yeah, take care. I'll see you next week. Zazoo out.